were in the media in 1939 to 1940, you'd be speaking German or you'd be a lampshade. Welcome to the savage nation. Unless there's a worldwide response against jihadism, we're all dead. Don't you understand what the heck is going on around you? Can't you put two and two together? When is America going to wake up from the, you want to call it PC? I don't even want to call it PC. I'm so sick of this, I can't take it anymore. I watched the news, and I watched the news, and I watched the news, and I waited for one John or one Jane to say the Islam word. I waited for one John or one Jane to say Islam, or radical Islam, or Muslim terrorist, or Islamofascism. I waited for one John or one useless Jane in the media to understand that we're at war. They've declared war on us. I waited and waited and waited until I turned the TV off. The Islamofascist attack against an airport in Russia. The media is filled with reports, if you can find them, but not one of them will talk about these crimes against humanity being committed by Islamists. There's a wonderful article by a Muslim named Walid Faris, who is a professor of global strategies in Washington, D.C. Now, he advises the Anti-Terrorism Caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives. The problem is no one listens to him. Being a Muslim himself, he knows better than most of us do what must be done. And his headline is, Moscow's airport massacre must trigger a worldwide response against jihadism. The fact of the matter is, this is not an isolated incident. I was watching a Nat Geo show last night. This time it wasn't about the world coming to an end and why we shouldn't believe in God, but we should believe in Nat Geo. And this one was about the steps leading up to 9/11 in the United States of America. And how, although there was a mosque in Brooklyn where one jihadist after another came from Pakistan or some other hellhole on the planet to come and plot the killing of Jews and Christians and infidels, one after the other, they traipsed into that mosque in Brooklyn. And some FBI agents knew that this mosque was the center of it. This was the hive where hate was being preached. This was the hive where bomb-making materials were being traded. Although they knew it, the FBI had its hands tied, first by Clinton, then by George Bush, and of course now the hands are tied still by Obama. We're Islamofascists. The only question is, when are we going to hit back? Because unless we do, we're dead. Now, many of you are waiting to see what Putin will do, because many of you realize that Putin has come across as a strong man. In fact, his reestablishment of power, or his reascent to power in Russia, was directly tied to his allegedly tough crackdown on a jihadist attack in Russia way back when. If you remember back in 2002, some of the practitioners of the religion of peace went into a school and had bombs attached to them. They were women. 800 audience members and actors in the musical Nord-Ost were taken hostage. And 129 Russians, innocent all, were killed after the police stormed the building, right? 2003, explosions near the local branch of the FSB in the village in Chechnya, one after the other. Explosion. 2 female Muslim suicide bombers in 2010 ripped through a packed Moscow subway during morning rush hour, killing at least 39 people, wounding dozens more. 2011, today, a deadly explosion at an airport outside of Moscow, killing at least 31. I'm sure the figure will go higher. The question is, how are we going to stop these trigger-happy, religiously insane people? How are you going to do this? What is America's proper response? Where is there a leader in America to stand up and say, I will protect you, I know what must be done, give me the power, let me become the commander-in-chief, and I will unleash holy terror upon them. I will unleash a holy terror upon them that they will never forget. And when I do unleash this holy terror upon them, wherever they live, they will be hiding from us. We will not be quaking from them. Where is that leader? Tell me, where is that leader? Romney? Mitt Romney. Romney wins a straw poll in New Hampshire over the weekend. Are you surprised by this? That a straw man would win a straw poll? Are you really surprised that the Republican shill, another straw man who's going to lose against Obama, and that's what he's set up to do again? You don't remember the last election? You don't remember how Romney was way ahead in the straw polls, the straw man, and suddenly he disappeared, and the shill, McCain, was pushed ahead by the Republicans in order to make sure that Obama became president? Don't you understand how it works yet? 8 years Dems, 8 years Repubs, 8 years Dems, 8 year Repubs. So we've only had 2 years of the Socialist Democrat Party. We'll have another 2 years of Obama, then he'll win again because the Repubs want a straw man. They don't want a strong man. And I allege that only a strong man can save America. Only a strong man willing to take on our enemies, domestic and foreign, can save America. China is at war with us. They're conducting a trade war against us. They bought enough congressmen and enough businessmen to continue conduct their trade. They own enough people in the media to say that we should do nothing. Hush, hush, my darling. Don't say a word to China. Don't do anything to the Mandarins. Play it very nice. They're all nice people. They're peaceful Buddhists. They're only doing what we do. Hush, hush, my darling. Don't do anything to China. You have allegedly people in the media who are supposedly a watchdog, but in fact, they're bought and sold by the Wahhabi lobby. That is Saudi money. Whether it be 18% owned of News Corporation, that is Fox News, which, as you well know, has gone very, very soft on terrorism over the last few years. They will say nothing about Islamofascism. So who is the strong man who will arise to protect America? Who is the strong man who will expose the straw man in the United States of America? Stay tuned and you'll find out right here on the Savage Nation.
Savage.
So we're talking about the Wahhabi lobby in the United States and how it's bought into the news media and how many of the talking faces, such as the one just fired from MSNBC, Unterman, a true Unterman who called for civil dialogue while naming me one of the worst persons in the world. Thank God Comcast threw him out, and Unterman will no longer be heard from, at least not in the immediate future. But we have a Wahhabi lobby, not referring to the Islamofascism that is plaguing the world, a virus that threatens moderate Muslims around the world, that threatens all Jews. In fact, as I said to you, I watched the Nat Geo special over the weekend, and it was very disturbing to see the lead-up to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and how FBI agents were trying to get the president to do something about a radical mosque in the heart of Brooklyn where the rats would come from around the world and the rats would feast on our freedom. The rats would trade plans to blow up things, kill people. The rats would openly talk about killing Jews, killing Christians. The rats would come flooding in and live on welfare. The rats would come in and go in that place. Agents were screaming to their headquarters, close down the mosque, bug the mosque, do something. And because of political fears, neither Clinton, then Bush, now Obama will do anything. And so, sure, today the bomb is in Moscow. How much longer do you think it'll be before one goes off here? They're busy frisking your your grandmother at the airport. They're busy strip searching nuns. They're busy making little children in wheelchairs cry. But if somebody comes in looking like a holy man from the Middle East, they usher him right through. Do you think we're all dummies? We know what's going on. So I've asked, who is the strong man who will replace the straw man that is running America? How is he going to overcome the China lobby, the Wahhabi lobby? Who is this person? I don't know who the person is, but I'll tell you this. In about 10 minutes, we're going to have Donald Trump on the show, his second visit to the Savage Nation. And I'm going to ask him some questions, including how would he respond to this terror attack in Russia had it happened, God forbid, in the United States of America. And I'm going to ask him about China. As you well know, he and I both agree we must get tough with China. It's strange that over the weekend, well, it's not really strange that a writer in England in a leftist newspaper wrote that we must assume the bowing position when it comes to China, that we must not upset the Chinese, that they themselves are simply following their own philosophy of Confucianism and Mandarinism and all of the highfalutin garbage. And the last thing we should do is confront China in any way, that we should be passive towards China, lest we set off either a trade war or something worse than that. The exact opposite is true. The only thing that could save America is the resurgence of a manufacturing base in this country. I'd like to see the factories reopen. I'd like to see the factories that once built the tanks and the Jeeps and the airplanes running again in America. I'd like to see the shipyards running again. I'd like to see the steel factories opening up again. I'd like to see drilling or an offshore of the United States of America for the first time off the West Coast to make us independent of the Wahhabi blackmailers. I would like to see slope drilling in Alaska. I'd like to see a lot of things done. And I need somebody to get into office who knows how to do it. I don't know who that man is. I know it's not Romney. This is the Savage Nation. The phone number is 1-800-449-8255, michaelsavage.com. Let's take our first caller out of New York City. Tony on WOR. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Michael, I wish you were that man. But listen, Michael, we could all feel a lot safer now. This phony, fake fraud, the Attorney General there, Holder, whatever his name is, he rounded up 127 Italian Americans. They're all citizens. You know, he got them for gambling and loan sharking and all that. I mean, it took 800 FBI guys, Michael, to round these guys up. It took 2 years. They said that it was under investigation for 2 years. Why didn't they put those 800 guys on the border? Why didn't they go find bin Laden or tell like it is, get these Muslims?
Well, you have no argument with me. Now, look, let's be clear. Anyone who's dealing drugs is doing the society a disservice. So let's be clear about that. No one's going to go soft on organized crime. But, Tony, there's a lot of questions to be asked about this show trial that Holder is engaging in. Why did he not crack down, for example, on the ethnic mafias that have sprung up in the United States of America? Why only Italians, Tony? You have an answer to that one?
Sure, because it's a lot easier. I mean, you know, he's afraid of the Muslims. You know, I mean, he might get, popped off.
Well, I don't know what he's afraid of, but I know it's kind of embarrassing when they say they've rounded up the last of the organized criminals in America. We know that's a falsehood. We know from many books that have been written from the 1970s onward that there are many ethnic mafias in the United States of America. Why was there not one Chinese? Why was there not one Albanian? Why was there not one ethnic of any other flavor other than Italian? Can